Hello and namaste. Today I'm going to talk about the Krishna consciousness and the energy he has brought down on the earth and transformed it into a text called Bhagavad Gita. So, what exactly is Krishna and what exactly is that Krishna energy? Because in terms of science, it says it is all matter and energy. So, for example, human body is a matter, and the soul that keeps this body running and operating is that energy. So, in terms of Krishna, uh, he's the total consciousness, and that consciousness is the cosmos, the whole cosmos. And if that energy is compressed to the size of a human brain, what do you get? Krishna, whom you regard as a Lord himself in the form of human. So, what happens when you receive that Krishna consciousness? You experience nothing. Yes, you experience nothing. It's all full of energy, radiating, you know, small, tiny explosion, bigger explosions that if you have reached that level of consciousness, you will understand that explosion. And that energy is so heavy, you know what happens? Yeah, you lose your senses. Yes, human body is driven by its senses. Being able to see, being able to taste, being able to feel, being able to hear, being able to smell, and etc. So, if somebody who somehow, by some experiment or some kinds of tantra or in a form of manifestation of that energy in the form of matter, that could be a human body, if he experiences it, he will lose his senses. So when he loses his senses, what he does? It's kind of crazy, because to understand this, you need to be able to understand what exactly is energy and how these energies they work on this environment. Like for example, it's a summer season and the sun is scorching out there, huh? And when the sun is scorching, what happens? You feel the heat. You start sweating. So when you start sweating, you'll be in a need of drinking a water. Either you are thirsty or you need to feel coolness. So for that, you either go and drink cold drinks or you sit inside a room full of AC and some even sit in front of the fan. So this energy is so heavy that you lose your control over your senses. You're being able to think and all the five senses that governs your whole body. So human body is sensitive to two primal things. One, food, because it provides energy to sustain the life inside. And second, the sex, sexual energy, through which a human body is formed. And they keep repeating the birth and death cycle, you know? So, if somebody by any chance feels that Krishna consciousness, he feels that energy, and that energy makes his senses shut down. So, which sense will rise up? Yes, the food or the sex. So, more than food, sex energy is very heavy. And in order to understand how a person becomes a devil or a demon, how we depicted in a different religious background. Yes, sexual energy is very, susceptible to be suffering the most, because energy around human beings are contagious to the heavy energy. So, if by any chance, for example, you found some beautiful girl out on the street, and you feel like you should go out there and talk to her, or even some even thinks of fantasizing about, establishing a relationship with her, and then some have the courage to go out there. Yeah, with that, if that energy is heavy, you have that courage too, but you forget about others, all the surroundings, all the matters, all the living people around. So you just focus on that target, that you must go and establish some kind of relationship, could be emotional or physical. You forget even about the spirituality at that time. So that's how one becomes a devil. Because a human body, if he or she is unable to have control over that energy, have no any senses on his or her, what do you call this, brain, that sexual energy drives that body. So matter being driven by that heavy energy of that consciousness of the Krishna forces him to go and mingle up, and the physical intimacy and all that. So when that energy is heavy, the sex even feels incredible. Yeah, it is splendid. So after having one intimacy, if a person feels that consciousness of that energy inside his body, he just keep going for another and another and another and another, and in this way he will destroy the world. If you want to know how the world is destroyed and how the humanity can be destroyed, is a human being not being able to have a sense of control over their senses by being directly affronted or confronted with that energy, or that energy he is handling inside himself, from the brain to the whole body. So if you have any questions regarding this Krishna and consciousness, yeah, you're free to comment down below, and I'll go for the next session about your curiosity on, you know. But it is not possible for everybody to, entertain that energy. Yes. You can even ask Sadguru or any religious gurus out there if they have understood or experienced that by themselves. But I'm sure if something is changing in a something different way, then there must be something bad had happened in the past. And yes, and only the person who is in charge of that energy, or was in charge of the energy, who was born with it, will be able to handle it. I'm sure few people who will see this video will understand what I mean by that. So for this, I need your assistance and help with your questions below.